The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "Behold, I am sending you like sheep in the midst of wolves. So be shrewd as serpents and simple as doves. But beware of men, for they will hand you over to courts and scourge you in their synagogues, and you will be led before governors and kings for my sake as a witness before them and the pagans. When they hand you over, do not worry about how you are to speak or what you are to say. You'll be given at that moment what you are to say, for it will not be you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Brother will hand over brother to death, and the father his child. Children will rise up against parents and have them put to death. You'll be hated by all because of my name, but whoever endures to the end will be saved. When they persecute you in one town, flee to another. Amen, I say to you, you will not finish the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes." The Gospel of the Lord. The persecution of the church, it was happening in the New World, in that part, Canada and New York, where Kateri grew up. St. Isaac Jogues, the Jesuit that helped to evangelize that area, he was martyred there. But before he was martyred, he was taken in by a Mohawk tribe. There are 3 clans of the Mohawks at that time. There was the Bear Clan, the Wolf Clan, and the Turtle Clan. The father of St. Kateri was a chief in the Turtle Clan. And Isaac Jogues, when he returned, he had gone back to Europe and came back to be a missionary again. He was adopted by the Wolf Clan, so he was a member of the Wolf Clan, but he was being persecuted by the Bear Clan because they didn't want this evangelization. They didn't want the Catholic culture. And so it was the Turtle Clan, of which Kateri's father was a chief. It's not known if he had direct contact or if he was one of the chiefs that offered to protect St. Isaac Jogues, the Jesuit. St. Isaac was given a bodyguard of the Turtle Clan. Turtle Clan. This hood makes me look like a turtle sometimes. Yeah, I notice. I watch the online sometimes to time these homilies, and I'm sorry, they're so long. But here's a story. It's at 4 years old, and that Kateri, there was that smallpox that ravaged the towns, and her father and her mother of another tribe. Her mother was of the captured Algonquin, member of that tribe, and she had a younger brother. They all perished. She was 4 years old, and it left her, really shaken up by the smallpox. Her little face got scarred with smallpox scars, and apparently her sight dimmed. When she got older, the children were given names at an older age, but they were really tight families. She was raised by her uncle and her aunt, and they gave her the name Tekakwitha, which means, well, there's different translations. She who bumps into things, it's her characteristics. But actually, it's more a sense of she who gropes around finding her way. She found her way to Christ. There was an assault by the Iroquois, the Hurons, against the Mohawks, that she was being assaulted and even stoned. She escaped to a safe place, and it was like a Catholic village of those that went to the Catholic faith. Most of them were Mohawks. And she made her vow of virginity, not by a bishop. She's consecrated virgin, but she made private vows. And even though it wasn't like official, accepted by a bishop, she became the U.S. Association of Consecrated Virgins has her as their patroness, consecrated virgin. She consecrated herself at around the age 19, but she ended up dying. She got very ill. She died on Easter week, Holy Wednesday, at 3 o'clock. And she was 24 years old. And she died in the arms of her very good friend and a lady that helped support her in the catechism, Marie Therese. Now this is 200 years before the birth of Saint Marie Therese, of the child Jesus, our patroness. So there's all these really nice little connections. Even being Native American and the first beatified before Juan Diego, Cuauhtlatoatzin, which means talking eagle. See, I know my Indian names, but this is their real names. Saint Juan Diego, Cuauhtlatoatzin, talking eagle. Kateri, which is Kateri with a K, K-A-T-E-R-I, was the Mohawk rendition of Catherine. It's pretty much thought that she named after Catherine of Siena, but it could be also that she took on Catherine of Alexandria, who was martyred under a wheel. So she saw her life that way, as kind of like a living martyrdom. Yet, she was so in love with Jesus. She was somewhat mystical. She was very holy. There is very much testimony to her, including a Jesuit priest that wrote her story, made a painting rendition himself. So we have some idea of what she looked like. She was very scarred, and she would hide her face with a blue shawl. But it's said that at her death, she said, "Jesus, Mary, I love you." She died in the arms of Marie Therese, and it's said that the priest was there, and her little face lost all the scars, and went to its proper beauty within 15 minutes after her death. Saint Kateri had to move around, just like we're hearing about Jacob. Jacob, who is called Israel. So Israel had his 12 sons, and this is the time of the famine. They had to go to Egypt, and then they just discovered that this is before Joseph really revealed himself, that he was Joseph, like Jesus revealing himself to his true self to the apostles, the 12 apostles. And so Jacob was assured that this was his son Joseph, because when he was coming with all of the things, just like Kateri made that migration to that safe town, Jacob, with all of his clan, his children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, in those carts provided by the Egyptians, by Joseph, made that journey to Goshen. When Joseph saw him, he ran to him and hugged him so tight and cried and cried and cried and cried out of happiness. So then Jacob said to Joseph, "At last I can die. And now that I have seen for myself that Joseph is still alive." Let us see Jesus in our own faith. Look forward to this passing to our reward in heaven. Jesus said to his own 12 disciples, his apostles, "Beware of men. They will hand you over to courts and scourge you on account of me. Amen, I say to you, go and evangelize the towns of Israel." And this evangelization continues. We have our saints, and we have St. Kateri because of the Jesuits, because of our own people that without the priests they evangelized, and because of those evangelized Christians that the faith grew among them. We have our faith today, and we have our families and our homes. Let us be good examples. Let us follow in the way of Jesus Christ. He is there before us. And as we see him, as we feel him, as we hear him in the Word, partake of him in the Eucharist, let us give all praise, glory, and honor to God Most High.